Hey everybody, this is Fran Fraschella, draft expert and basketball junkie. To everybody who's watching, let's get our friends at General Manager Games the subscribers they deserve. Just press that red subscriber button and immerse yourself in sports AI through GM Games content. And on Twitter, it's GM_games. Let's get after it. Let's go.
All right, we're about to get started on the Bonanza. And I'm almost set up. All right, let's get everyone into the live stream. If you don't know who I am, my name is Chris. I'm the commissioner of the CBGM. I'm also the founder of General Manager GM Games, where we cover games of this genre. And this is season 31. This is our last recruiting session on 22 version of Draft Day Sports College Basketball. We'll be moving to version 23. It looks like there's going to be a lot more early signees versus this version. So I hope everyone appreciates in CBGM the chance to pitch for the last time and go after their top players. This might never be the same amount of energy in one day. So definitely it's going to be a bit of a different recruiting animal, and let's see what happens here. Still an amazing league, and we'll see where we go from here, but this is an amazing experience all on its own. So season 31, we're just going to wait for more people to get into the chat, and then we're going to roll the date over so everyone can see that happens, and then off we go. So let's just make sure I get the broadcast out. It looks like besides everyone judging whether or not the game is worth its value, definitely in different currencies, especially Australian dollars, it's almost $1.50 dollars to $1 American dollar. So that's not exactly a great price for the Aussies. But yeah, all right. So we have Agalia's here, back-to-back champ. We got Kev, who's always picking up centers. We got Big Ev, former champ, Mississippi State. So just waiting for more people to enter the Bonanza so we can get going and I can get my day going. So Kid Coffee Black, welcome. What's up, Coffee? Always on the cusp. Maryland and Butler seem to be dangerous teams year in, year out. And taking all the low SAT stars at Incarnate Word. All right, we're about to get started here. We're going to roll over the date. So you're looking at a certain overlay of a graphic we make. But then now we're going to show what it's like on September the 11th. And this is just the polls. As you're aware, there's been no signees, and this will probably change. Hey, Bill, good to see you here. And we're going to roll the date. Then what I normally do is I go into Cards' account, Brian Scott, and hide my eyes, and I go backwards 125, high-level recruits and down. So with that in mind, let's get started. So we're going to advance. You can see that we're on the 11th now, and pressing the advance button. So hopefully this doesn't take too long. Breeze is in the chat. One of our biggest fans, not in the league, but still appreciates some good CBGM or NBGM action at GM Games. And yeah, we're gonna get this moving here. So we're rolling over. Again, this is probably the last time we're gonna have this much impact on one day, pitching, changing. I'm always an advocate to try to get more of this excitement and competition in terms of swaying the recruits in this format, because they have interest bars. That's the personalities and archetypes, and I think there's a little bit more to it than just campuses and prestige. So, all right, it's the 18th. So what I do now is I hide this again so no one can see who the top pick might have gone to. And I'm gonna go into Mr. Cards' account, which is next up. And even I don't really want to see who went first, so I'm like, cover up most of my eyes. Colors can even impact me to see who the top recruit is, but I kind of put my hands over my eyes, and then I click on one of the rows, and then I go backwards from 125, and then I press left. Okay, all right, we're ready to go. All right, here we go. Well, I have to see one to be able to get to the screen, so that's kind of where I'm going with it. All right, 125. Edwin Wright. Old Dominion. So that's old. Congratulations, Edwin Wright, 125. We moved these pretty quick. We got Pitt here, 124. Tyson Danielson is signed. Beats out NC State. So congrats on Pitt, Dr. GC. John Slocum unsigned right now, 123. Keaton Jordan, 122 unsigned. Andre Laflemme, I think there's been some bidding for this guy. Good camp data, unsigned. Sammy Green, Zags kind of around, that's AI, unsigned right now. Andy Stevenson, unsigned. And we want to get to that sub 100. So 118, Brad Carlisle, unsigned. Carson Harris, no-go, 117. Hilton Platts is signed. UNLV, Josh, getting in there with the 116 recruit. Still in 4 stars. These are valuable players. Ricardo Moore, unsigned. Temple is one of the most interested in this player, or them and him and them. Sam Taylor, 114 unsigned. Doug, 113 unsigned. Will Hunter, 112 unsigned. Ashley Souter, 111 unsigned. 110, Brooks Nichols, unsigned. Brent Allen, BC. So Rook has signed a 4-star recruit out of Londonderry, New Hampshire. And it's a power forward with strong inside post accuracy and can score, but can't block too many shots. So Brent Allen. 108, Kelly Petway, unsigned. John Erskine, unsigned. 107, we're almost at 100. Diego Toole, unsigned. Eddie Scott, unsigned, 105. Tony Skiffer, unsigned, 104. Clayton Gage, unsigned, NC State on that player. Boston College as well. Keith Riley, 102, unsigned. And welcome, Doomjaw. Welcome to the stream. Richard Williams, 101, unsigned. And last but not least, at number 100, we have Wyatt Bondar, Canadian International, unsigned right now. So under the top 100, we're in the 99, Ayinde Amaya. He is unsigned right now. We're moving along. We got Courtney Schaefer, Ole Miss in on him, unsigned still picking out who they want to go to. Omar Williams, Providence with the signing. So congratulations to Providence there. That low GPA, hopefully passes that minimum SAT score. That's always a concern, but looks like pretty good stats all around. Johnny Hatcher, England, unsigned, all right. Yeah, Big Ev, Providence is your team. So Tom Borman, unsigned, moving into the top 95. David Everett, unsigned right now, 94. Lou Watson, 93, unsigned. Kieran White, unsigned right now, number 92. Albert Lilly, unsigned at number 91. Kieran Smith, popular name this year, I guess. 90, unsigned. All right, Virginia, Josh signing right here. Arthur Whitehead, out of the same state of Virginia, beats out Duke and G-Town. And Arthur Whitehead, the guard, is going to Josh's team. All right, Hobbs is going to Mini, so that's Kev BK's on the board at the number 88 recruit. Colt Moy, 87, power forward unsigned. Jared Barker, so Dr. GC has another signing, bringing him into the ACC at Pitt. Jared Barker signs. If Doctor's in the chat, congratulations on that. Good to see we have about 15 to 20 live viewers right now from the league, just catching the action. Al Marsh, 85, unsigned. Terrence Smith, 84, unsigned. Pete Lands, 83, still unsigned. Theo Coleman, pretty decent player out of Texas, unsigned, 82. And Oregon's on the board. So Graham, Chris Groves, power forward. Terrible ball handling and passing and whatever. But he's a power forward. His D's not great, but man can has a little mid-range, little inside game scoring, so not bad. Garrick Jenkins, JUCO, unsigned right now. Wade Kimbrough, he's unsigned, 79. Dion Bedard, unsigned, moving on. Kyle Beck, so another player going to Oregon. I think he's like top 25 out west and Las Vegas camp. He's out of the state of Zona, going to Oregon. Anthony Davis, 76, unsigned. Brian Jeffers, 75, unsigned. Okay, top 75 time. John Jepson, he's not signed either, from the Great Plains. Michael Underwood, 73, still not signed, from Australia. Mike Jesse, Michigan, unsigned right now. So that's 71. Mike Graves, Georgia's top player on this guy. He's unsigned at the moment. Looks like the Bulldogs are hot on him. Moving on, Oliver Lake, Dog. Oliver Lake signs with Davidson. Usually Davidson's going for the internationals. This time they got a local player. So congratulations to Dog there. Eric Adams, unsigned out of the Great Plains. 68, Clay Pop, unsigned still. Jim Forbes, unsigned at the moment. And 66, all right, Indiana. So Rook, I think, believe another player here. Richie Blackshear, 66. And Rotam Bash out of Israel has, the ad kind of loops after the 10-minute mark or whatever. But I can pause a little bit while the ads come in. Won't move too fast. For anyone who had ads, what happened was Blackshear went to Indiana. And then Forbes went nowhere. But the Israeli center ends up signing with Wichita State. Rotam Bash. Okay, moving along. 64, Juan Pablo Herrera, still unsigned right now. Lance Hester, 63, still unsigned. Casey Briggs going to VCU, so still very active GM by the name of He's done quite well and active bringing in Casey Briggs here. Low GPA. We'll see how that all pans out in the end. John Solomon, 61, unsigned. Ronnie Ostler, unsigned at 60. And we're into the top 60 now. Andre Smith, still unsigned, battling between Mississippi State, Florida State, and UAB. In at 58, we got Mark Gordon, still unsigned by anybody. And we got next up Mark White, unsigned, 57. Mark Williams, still unsigned for Duke and all the others. Lance Dugarry, unsigned. Edmund Malone, 54, unsigned. So there's going to be a lot of bidding here on these players into the second round, which will be interesting. So 53, Wade Johnson, unsigned. And here we go. We got Spider on the board. Rashid Camby going to Purdue, the Boilermakers, at the 52 slot. We're almost into the top 50. Mike Will made it to Miss State. Mike Williams. So Mike Will, he is they beat out Florida State on this player. So big congratulations on Mike Williams. 51, Nicholas Burks. Nobody signed yet. All right, top 50 time. Here we go. We're into JP Smallwood. Oh, man. Tech was first. I bid for Blink here. Blink could check, but Nova snipes JP Smallwood over Illinois. And I wonder what pitch they went for, because for Blink, I tried academics. He's full academic bars. I mean, he's not even here, but I gave it his best shot. All right, moving on. 48, Martin Anderson. Interesting player. Goes to Texas A&M. So Aggie's picking up camp players right now. Graham gets a player here. Next, Deoncio Landrum going to Rook at Indiana at 47. And Nick Washington's going to Marquette. And I got to apologize if I can't remember who that is. Yeah. I think it's not Dozer. Maybe it is Dozer, yeah. Bill. All right, next up. Kelly Bickerstaff is going to Bubba in California at 45. And now we're at 44. Brian Cleaver goes to LSU. He's scooped up. Tom Colton goes to the Aggies. Fuck, I'm pretty sure I wanted this guy with Wichita State. So he chose Graham, and Graham picks up this player. So there we go. Tim Leonard goes to Texas Tech. Cedric Jones, 41, unsigned. Daniel Munch, unsigned. Garrick Wilson, unsigned at the moment, 39. We're approaching the top players. Casey Barrett, unsigned at 38. Bryant Reyes, the terrible GPA player, still unsigned at 37. Greg Martin, unsigned. And we're moving along. Mike Wright, unsigned right now. Into the top 35, 34, David Wallace, unsigned, UConn, West Virginia on the chase for this JUCO. And Mike Mane Ibanez, Spain, unsigned at 33. Hedek Holmes, he's unsigned right now. Almost in the top 30. John Sullivan, so we got a role player here for Notre Dame, adding some pieces just for the depth. So Aguilia lands John Sullivan at 31. And in the 30, Brazil with Rafael Paulo Freitas, unsigned. So the top 30, here we go. Brendan Lopez, 29, unsigned. 5 to go to the top, to the 5-star range. Joey Yeager, unsigned. These are good players. They can be 4-year players, close to the 5-star range, can't have good camp data. Josh Fay ends up in Nova. So they're plucking Fay out of the Florida region and beats out FSU and beats out the Hurricanes on Josh Fay. All right, moving on. Jody Barnes, unsigned, 26. And now we're going into the let's go to 5-star range, 25, Steve Canal. Oregon's hot on this player. VCU and Duke are hanging around. Seton Hall's hanging around. And then what else was up? Roy Roma. Everyone's kind of interested to see where he'll end up. Mississippi, he's still hot on the Mississippi Trail. Alabama's in there. Desired's in there looking for him. I think it's going to come down, probably not the AI, but between right now, Bama coming back in for him, Desired, and Big Av. It's going to be a big next turn for the next advance. Gabe Scott, still unsigned. All right, 23. Luke Martin goes to Florida State. Beats out USC, that's out of state. And was hot on the chase? Creighton, Arkansas, blah, blah. Luke Martin's going to the Seminoles. All right, 21, Barry Vinson. Grabbing a 5-star out of Hawaii, St. Mary's. So they're like the new Zags. They basically take some pretty good West Coast players all the time. Gonzaga's less impactful, and Chuck's been able to make St. Mary's into a big contender. Chris Miles ends up in Washington. So at the end of the day, whoever was going after this guy ends up with Jackson. So Jackson, the community leader for Wolverine Studios, bags Chris Miles here at the number 20 slot. Louisville goes for Chris Green. So Cards' favorite, where he stays out of the top 10 and picks up players that might last more than 1 year. Kind of acting similarly here, but he takes Chris Green away from Georgetown. So they're not normally that close on players, but Chris Green is Louisville's. Congrats to Cards. Llewellyn Turner, Butler. So 5-star pickup here by Coffee. So congratulations. These guys, sometimes under the radar, still 5 stars, play really well. Tim Crawford as well. Just continue to go back to back for Butler. Picking up 2 5 stars right in the same range. So congrats on that. 16, Chad Brown, nobody yet. Who's going to end up with Chad Brown? I feel like there's going to be a lot of bids on this guy after this round. Adriel Spears ends up with Daiga Cuse. That's a good pickup, beating out West Virginia and North Carolina. Clarence Cressy, unsigned right now at the 14 slot. We're continuing to move on. John Peterson signs with Notre Dame, so they add up their depth to try to counterbalance Chris Green over there at the 13th position. We're almost into the top 10. 12, Baylor, can't ignore what they do. They lock up their guy, Jamar Sanders, at center, so they'll be competitive usually. And next up, Eric Freeman. So St. Mary's does their thing, cleaning up out. Well, this is an interesting one. They made moves into the East, really targeted this player. I'm not sure like what pitch was used. Maybe Prestige, but beats out Baylor and scoops this 5-star point guard from Pennsylvania, going to go out west to play for the Gales. So, all right. Congrats to Chuck on that. Top 10 time, Nathan Pepper unsigned at number 10. And who was, I can't remember the Indy MVP, but it might be around 2 or 3. Anyhow, Tyrone Greenwald. Oh, this is a war. Baylor, Florida State, Louisville, Florida, Kansas, West Virginia, Creighton, all in. Who is going to get, this was the MVP at the Memphis camp. Forget who's the MVP at Indy, but Tyrone Greenwald still free for one more day. Kevin Miles is going to Louisville, taken from California, potentially taken from Oregon, because I think Graham might have had this guy at number 1 on the list. But school prestige, being very greedy about where he goes in this area, ends up picking a prestige school. Kevin Miles is going to Cards. All right, next up, Tyson Fox, unsigned Nova, VCU. Wow, okay, so VCU gets right in that mix. Gotta one day become like them. So Tyson Fox right now exploring whether or not he wants to go to Villanova. Like right now, playing time is the big thing for Tyson Fox. Still unsigned though. Number 6, St. Mary's again. Watch out for the Gales. Back-to-back point guards though. Where is the time gonna go? Tim Tyler joins out of California as well. School prestige was the big win, but Tim Tyler joins Chuck again. And top 5, John Mason. So Jedi focuses on one team. His one team, he picks up a hell of a player, keeps him in state. John Wilson is going to Jedi. He's probably in the chat all quiet, wondering what's up, but scoops the top 5. All right, next up, Rob Stevenson goes to Dave Galindo. Good to see Dave in there. Dave grabs a 28-point-a-game player out of high school with 10 boards, 5-star, kind of like Eddie Ivory, his other big star that he had last time, big. But power forward Rob Stevenson is going to Michigan out of the top 5. So good to see them in the mix. We're into the top 3 now. Number 3 is going to be Rob Stooks, VCU, making a name for themselves, beating out Notre Dame, Maryland, and staying in Salem, Virginia. Rob Stooks. This is the MVP? And the MVP? Or was it the last guy? Or Rob Stevenson? Anyways, Rob Stooks nailed it at VCU. Yeah, Max is in the chat. Well, yeah / Max, but VCU's killing it. All right, 2 to go. 2 to go. We got San Diego State, Josh Campbell. And who's running SDSU again? It's not Obi Surf. Someone else scooped them. But amazing! I never pulled off a player this good when I was at San Diego State. So I know someone picked them up. I know I've been working on their prestige for a long time. But yeah, all right, Josh Campbell. And last but not least, Tim McDavid. We'll see where he ends up. He'll be Oklahoma, staying in state. So Dave Sparkin gets the #1 overall recruit. Look at that scoring, 32.2 points per game with 9 boards. And that wraps up the recruiting bonanza with some big signings from VCU, St. Mary's, Oklahoma, San Diego State, and Louisville getting their guys and whatnot. So thanks for coming out. Tim McDavid is the #1 overall recruit, maybe not the best player. Top 5 though at Indy, so still a heck of a player. But going to the Sooners. So I just want to thank everyone. Thank you for joining, for that interesting reveal. And let's get back to the league and get this started for the next few days to go. Thanks for coming to the chat. Thanks for being a part of GM Games and CBGM. And interested to get more people into the league at some point. Okay? Love you guys.